Chapter 5, last section, 5-9, solving equations with rational numbers. That means solving the equations with either fractions or with decimals, probably in this case. Okay, so you solve addition and subtraction equations. You do it just like you solve regular equations. You just happen to have some rational numbers in there. So here we have 2.1 equals t minus 8.5. Oh my gosh, we have decimals. Well, no big deal. We're still going to do the same thing. We're going to try and isolate our t. We want to get the t by itself. So I'm going to add 8.5 to both sides of my equation, of course, because what I do to one side, I have to do to another. I've chosen to add 8.5 because if I add that to negative 8.5, I get 0, and they cancel out. That gives me my t all by itself, which was my goal. And I add up the decimals on the other side, and I get 10.6. So that was simple enough. T equals 10.6. Next problem, we have x plus 3 over 5 equals 2 over 3. We're going to subtract 3/5 from both sides of this equation. Keep our equal signs lined up. And we find that these two guys cancel each other out. Plus 3/5 and minus 3/5 is 0. Gives us our x all by itself. That was our goal. Now we have to add 2/3, right? And negative 3/5. Well, we'll notice that they do not have the same denominator. We're going to have to change the denominator to be the same. So x will equal, let's change these guys to 15ths. And that'll be times 5 here and times 3 here, right? So 2 times 5 is 10/15, and 3 times 3 is 9/15. So 15ths, excuse me. So x will equal 10/15 minus 9/15, which is 1/15. All right, multiplication and division. So you can divide each side by a half, or you can multiply by the inverse. So here's what we're going to do. We have 1/2 x equals 3. I want to get that x by itself. If I multiply by the inverse, I can get everybody to cancel out, and I'll just have 1x, right? Which is basically x by itself. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to multiply 2 over 1 on this side. Then I also have to multiply 2 over 1 on this side. So 1x equals 3 times 2 over 1, which is 6. So x equals 6. Okay, negative 3y equals 1.5. I have a multiplication problem. I'm going to do the opposite operation. I'm going to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, right? So that's basically y by itself, and 1.5 divided by negative 3. Then come out here, 1.5 divided by negative 3, okay? I know my answer is going to be there negative because I have a positive divided by a negative. I'm going to go ahead and put my negative sign there so I don't forget. So, negative 3 into 15, well, I put up a 0, put the decimal, put a 0. Negative 3 doesn't go into 1, but it does go into 15. It goes in 5. So my answer is negative 0.5. Okay, let's try this one last problem. 5 equals 1/4 y. Well, if I multiply both sides, actually, let me erase that. I'm going to give myself a little bit more room here. Sorry, guys. So 5 equals 1/4 y. I want to get the y by itself. If I multiply by 4 over 1, I can get these guys to cancel each other out, right? So if I multiply this side by 4 over 1, I need to multiply that side also by 4 over 1. Y equals 4 over 1, or 4 times 5 is 20. You can check your answer if you want. Does 5 equal 1/4 times 20? Does 5 equal 1 over 4 times 20 over 1? 5 equal Cancel those guys out. 5. 5 dozen, that equals 5, so we have the right answer. Okay, here are your 4 your turn problems for tonight. There are 4 problems. Do these on paper so we can look at them the next time we meet and see how you're doing on these problems that you've learned about today. Thanks, guys.